I once asked the CEO of a large SaaS company as to why they even had an internship program for high schoolers. She told me that the kind of idea she would get from someone belonging to our generation would be more imaginative and more vibrant than the one she'd be getting from her regular team. Why is it that today's younger generation seems to be more in sync with the times? Gen Z has stepped into the thinking and doing shoes with an ease and elan that would be interesting to unpeel. My name is Relan. I'm 14 years old, and layer by layer, I would like to unpeel the anatomy of Gen Z's mind. The ideas we will uncover today will change the way you think Gen Z can contribute both today and in the future. Simply put, I'm here to explain why Gen Z is going to be the future for entrepreneurship as soon as tomorrow. Over the last 3 years, I've had the opportunity to gain experience working with a few organizations. I've always noticed that most companies don't utilize the Gen Z workforce to its fullest potential. Our generation has the potential to change the world. It is this very society which has given us this power. Yet, this very society refuses to utilize this power. Let me take a step aside and share with you a journey I recently embarked upon, which has made me even more proudly aware of the few traits of my generation. A while back, I teamed up with a bunch of high schoolers to bring to life a business proposal. What we lacked in experience, we made up in the entrepreneurial spirit. And through describing my journey, I hope to take you on a trip as this bunch of teenagers, including me, dabbled in entrepreneurship. Together, leading this team, I co-founded YQ. We decided that shopping deserves a dust-off, a renovation, modernized for the way we shop today. YQ is a WhatsApp chatbot providing infrastructure to residential colonies as a platform for social distancing. When lockdown initially began on the 25th of March, the central government released a directive asking everyone to maintain social distancing norms. But here's the thing, in majority of India and other countries in Southeast Asia and Latin America, this wasn't as easy to implement. Social distancing requires infrastructure, which simply doesn't exist in developing countries. What we did with YQ is we tried to bring the infrastructure to the people. Big Basket and other sources of organized retail barely control 2% of the market share in India, which means the majority of India still shops from local kirana stores. Bringing all these local kirana stores onto a single platform is a huge challenge, but would be a game changer if someone does manage to pull that off. We created a WhatsApp chatbot which had four main functionalities. Firstly, we assigned individuals time slots so that they could come to the store, and because of this, we could control the footfall at any point of time. Secondly, we worked with kirana stores to pre-collate a customer's order even before they stepped foot outside the house. Because of this, we reduced the average time spent at a shop from 11 minutes to 20 seconds. We're also working in mobile wallet integrations, making the transactions completely cashless. And finally, we're trying to help provide kirana stores with a platform for shop management all through a WhatsApp chatbot. While working with a team comprising 100% of teenagers, I realized that the power we hold in changing the world is potent. Why? Why is our generation different? Now, I would like to structure my points across a few dimensions. Firstly, I want to speak about why it's easier for our generation to adapt technologically. Secondly, I want to talk about how traditional marketing techniques need to be revamped for the consumers of today and tomorrow. And well, Gen Z is best suited to speak the language of Gen Z, right? Thirdly, I want to speak about how and why Gen Z is driven by ideas and unconventional methodologies while being quick on its feet. The first reason is that out of all the demographic groups there today, it's the easiest for our generation to work with technology. Instead of the proverbial silver spoon, we were born with the tech spoons in our mouth. One of the organizations I got the chance to work with was a large corporate. Now, this firm mandated that every individual joining had to undergo a technical training, which meant that I spent my first week there learning the skills which are of a second nature to our generation. However, employers need to do this because their workforce hasn't grown up to the tools of the trade. Our generation, however, has. We've grown up with mobile devices in our hands 18 hours a day. So what 10 out of those 18 hours are spent commenting on our crush's posts? In today's society, these are the tools of the trade. Companies won't have to spend millions of dollars a year just to teach their staff on the use of technology. Our generation is the mobile first, internet first, and social media first generation. We can do internet better than we can spell our names. 45% of teenagers say that they're online almost constantly, while 95% of teenagers have ready access to mobile devices. Because of this exposure to social media and the constant connection, our generation collaborates better. We find it easier to pull off the remote work culture. I can guarantee that if any one of the previous generations had to submit their homework online, they would be getting straight Fs. In contrast, today, my 8-year-old brother can independently set up Zoom meetings, he can create docs on the cloud, access shared folders probably easier than my parents can. Isn't that surprising? Now let's make this a bit more tangible. I interviewed some of the senior management along with fresh high school and college graduates about their work from home experience. What I found was that even though the senior management had been working for 15 plus years and were more time conscious, they were not being able to manage their productivity. On the other hand, recent hires with marginal to no professional experience managed their time better, were faster to adapt, and had higher productivity and efficiency rates. This brings me to my next point, which is that our generation brings the need for a completely new approach to marketing, an approach which only our generation can derive. To me, the idea of a 40-year-old trying to sell a digital product to a teenager is amusing at the very least. Selling to our generation requires a completely different approach. Our generation needs a new form of marketing. We demand more user-generated content and more influencer marketing till the point where the line between user-generated content and marketing has disappeared. Our generation has a buying power of $44 billion, and last year's prediction state that in 2020, our generation will command 40% of consumer spendings. Our generation is unique, and companies can't use their old school marketing techniques on us. So if they don't buck up fast, they're in for a big shock. In order to sell to us, you need to order food through reverse image searches of your friends' Instagram stories like us. You need to expect 1-hour deliveries like us. You need to learn without having ever met a teacher like us. You need to join college without ever having stepped foot into one like us. You need to do homework, watch Netflix, chat with their friends all simultaneously like us. 1 out of every 10 Gen Z would rather go 3 days without refreshing their underwear than go 3 hours without refreshing their Instagram feed. Basically, in order to sell to us, you need to think like us. And essentially, to think like us, you need to hire us. My third point is that our generation is excited by ideas. Our generation is good at out-of-the-box thinking. We also employ unconventional ideologies. Our generation is less biased and more open, and with these unconventional ideologies, we are ready to change the world. We're also desperate to make an impact in the society we live in and touch upon the lives of our fellow people. This is why we're known as the Founders Generation. Our generation also employs a different approach towards education. We understand that forward-thinking companies don't care about which school has bestowed their stamp of approval on us. What they care about is your ability to do the job, and if you can't do it, you're hired. In today's society, the path of dropping out of college to start your own venture is also something which has come to be accepted and respected. Now, if you look at the exact dates and start to connect the dots, you would figure out that the millennial generation entered the job market during or after the subprime crisis. During this time, the millennial generation was new into the job market, and because of such an experience so early in their career, they became risk averse and stuck to the conventional way of thinking. Our parents belong to the generation of non-risk takers. However, our generation has absorbed these things differently. The COVID crisis was the first momentous crisis which our generation has ever experienced. And out of this too, our generation has drawn more digital adaptiveness than anything else. Quat erat demonstrantem. What has to be proven has been proven. But what do we do now? I want everyone attending this talk today to understand that entrepreneurship is many things. It's a mindset, but at the end of the day, it's also a skill. It's something which you can hone and work upon. It's something which develops with each project you do. My absurd idea is to see teenagers swarm the entrepreneurial ecosystem. I believe that within the next few years, majority of the startups will be controlled by Gen Z. It sounds ridiculous, I agree, but it's totally possible. Mind you, this won't just happen automatically. It's a reality which our generation has to collectively and consciously create. Now, all of us can't just drop out of school and say, okay, we're starting our venture. Over time, we need to gain experience and put our finger on an idea which we're ready to solve for free. Once we've identified it and figured out how to solve it, we deserve the right to monetize it and bring it to society. I also want to convey a message to society. It's because of the environment that you've given us that we are who we are. Let's embrace this. Let's be more open to allowing us to work alongside you. Our generation is keen to learn and keen to work. We're looking up to you to opportunities just to do that. I want everyone to think of a problem which they've solved. For me, it was that Kirana store shopping in India was dangerous during the lockdown. For you, it may be that your younger brother wouldn't stop reading a secret diary. It could be any problem under the sun. Now, when you get back home, I know you're already at home, but before asking Alexa to turn the lights off, take half an hour to think of the different ways you could have solved it. Once you come across a solution where people say, oh wow, I didn't think of that too, you stick on to the feeling. Because if you do have the passion of solving a problem in a unique way inside you, you're unstoppable. Godspeed, Gen Z.